Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven.
Is it the end of the world we live in, or is it the start of a new world that's about to appear?
If you believe in God, I mean, it's definitely someone above us.
Why do you say that?
Because the world is perfect.
We need to move from an age of stupidity, greed and cruelty to an age of humanity where we remember that we're spiritual beings, that we can think for ourselves and take care of one another.
Jesus Christ said, "Blessed are the peacemakers." You notice he didn't say the peace prayers. He didn't say the peace cross your fingers and hope it's all going to be okay. Now I find that an awesome challenge, don't you?
It means that everything's going to be great in the future.
Well, it's in the prayer, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
When the kingdom happens, I don't know.
It doesn't interest me at all.
That reminds me of my childhood.
God created his world perfectly, but it's only us that's gone and messed it all up.
I think we are going to have to make paradise where we are rather than hoping it's going to come to us.
The coming back of the kingdom, and Jesus Christ to me is the kingdom.
This means that the way that things are done in the spiritual world, where God is, that we're also meant to be emulating that, because by nature we belong in the spiritual world.
Well, it's a religious phrase, isn't it? The idea that one day the kingdom of heaven will be available to us all if we do the right thing. But if you look at it in a more general way, what it really is a utopia we're talking about. And if you don't have a vision, the nation perishes. And therefore having something towards which people feel they're working gives them strength, encouragement and so on. And I think it's important always to retain the belief you can do what you want to do. And the fact you can do it makes it more of an obligation to do it.
So thy kingdom come is a prayer of Jesus, praying down the end time into the here and now.
Hopefully it's going to be better than it is now.
Oh God, I think the planet will probably disappear before long. Yeah. I think people have probably ruined it.
Slightly downward spiral, I'd say.
Hopefully more peaceful. Brighter.
I think we have a corrupt system globally. Like, I don't think it's going to get better.
Pretty black, pretty horrible for most people. Are you aware that our country, Britain, with America, have scattered thousands of tons of our nuclear waste called depleted uranium munitions, our war material, on this place called Iraq and Afghanistan and elsewhere? Are you aware that the Royal Society says depleted uranium has a half-life of 4.5 billion years?
I'm hoping for a future in which we are sober about the challenges we face, but because we are prepared to tackle them, all sorts of good things will be brought out of us.
The only thing that's good about the future is the fact that you've got friends and people that you love and you have to keep close to them, otherwise you're stuffed.
I think it's in God's hands, and eventually I believe that good will come of all of this.
I'm not worried about global warming because I think we'll somehow manage to cope with that.
The sense that we have a responsibility for the future is what keeps a lot of people going.
I've got a lot of confidence in the younger generation. I think with the internet and that, with the green issues and that, they're very aware of everything, so I'm pretty confident about the future.
I see it with quite a lot of technology.
I think that probably nuclear power stations will be regarded like Stonehenge in the future, sort of amazing works of engineering, but slightly pointless. I think there may be other ways of generating power which will be better. For example, generating through micropower, which is potentially very, very interesting.
The darker it becomes outside, the more that people have a tendency to look inside and reach out to something higher. So if people do that, then actually the future will be very bright.
I think there is a great obligation to the future.
Because it's not, the world's not just for us, is it? It's for everybody.
None of us are here forever. What are we going to leave behind us? What is our legacy going to be? What's your legacy? What's my legacy? Mr. Tony Blair, Mr. George Bush, they're gone from their positions of power, but what they've left behind them is a legacy of infanticide, genocide, torture, looting of nations. It's not a pretty picture, is it?
I think we've been set on a huge responsibility of sorting out the problems that the generations before us have been kind of passed on to us.
The future is what we make it. Men and women make the future. And I think it's important not to think we're just victims of some system. We shape what happens to us by what we do and the tradition that we create and the memories we leave behind.
Let them drink less, let them smoke less, let them do more sport.
I think we have a huge obligation to future generations. I think a lot of that revolves around the word stewardship. It's very important that we are good stewards of our lives. The way we look after our resources, the way we live our lives are all going to have an effect on the future generations.
If we don't prepare the territory for the future, then we're just destroying everything, so they have nothing they're inheriting.
We have to look after our resources and our planet now, because if we don't, it won't be there for them.
We should leave it the way we found it, if not better.
A sense of fairness and equity means that we have to share not only with other people alive at the moment, but also with our children and our children's children.
And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war any more.